I'm pretty excited about The Girl Without a Clit.
I know, it's going to be so great.
That sounds like a book. The Girl Without a Clit.
It's a sequel to The Girl on the Train. It's like what she found out after she got off the train.
It's like, are you there, Clit? It's me.
It's me. Girl.
Crystal.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to How Come. I hope you heard our bonus episode that we released in the middle of this week. We released it because we hit 500 ratings on iTunes. Yay! Thank you so much. You're amazing. Keep rating, keep reviewing. Who knows what exciting things we'll put out next. But yeah, that episode was recorded a year ago, and it was with a mystery guest who's going to be our mystery guest today. Her voice is dubbed. She doesn't actually sound like a chipmunk. She sounds like a very sexy lady. Almost as sexy as Charlotte.
Oh, stop it.
Do you know how many messages we get a week being like, I could listen to Charlotte say things all day?
That's really crazy to me because most people just tell me I sound sick.
Yeah, but like, sick.
No, they say, do you have strep?
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
So our guest today, we're going to do a follow-up with her. We were calling her Catherine because of Cruel Intentions. Is it still killing it on Broadway?
It's off Broadway now.
It's off Broadway. Amazing. Welcome back, our mystery guest. She works in finance. She's amazing. Catherine.
Hello.
Hello.
Great
So
to be
nice
back
to have
here,
you back.
Remy.
We have so many things that we didn't address. Like, first of all, how much of a mindfuck was that listening? For me, it was insane.
So I forgot that we recorded it. I didn't forget it. It was a memorable experience. But I kind of just forgot about it because it never aired.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, by the way, we salvaged it.
Yeah, I know. And then I listened to it because we have another episode. Like, there was supposed to be another episode 2 that never happened because the couple I interviewed broke up. And I was like, that's kind of inappropriate to put out there. I don't even know if I have that one. I think I might have deleted it because I was just like, I don't think they're ever getting back to you. We'll see. We'll see. You guys keep rating and reviewing. And
never say never.
Never say never.
Maybe at 1,000.
Yeah, maybe at 1,000. Ooh. But yeah, that episode's insane too because
Yeah.
I cried after and I didn't want to start this podcast after.
Yep.
We should salvage that episode. That episode's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
really
That
crazy.
might have to be behind a Patreon wall though because it's like,
Yeah, let's get to 1,000.
let's get to 1,000, you guys. So yeah, I sounded like a completely different person to myself.
Absolutely. I sounded like... It sounded like me about a year ago. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just kind of weird to hear myself talk through where I was and that in my current state of mind back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, things have definitely, evolved. I would say that I would answer all those questions pretty much the same way, with the exception of probably a few.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was definitely it was a kind mindfuck is one way to put it.
It was a mindfuck. Like I personally was like, wow, Remy was very dumb.
I was trying to convince you that you had a clit.
I know, but also I was like, Catherine is so mean. Like the way that I was like, I don't know if I have a clit, and you were like, yeah, you do. Now me would have been like, actually, there's people without clits, and we're gonna call. We mentioned my friend Crystal. We never got to her, so we're gonna call her today.
I mean, I'm fascinated by the thought of that.
But do you think like about when you look back, you're like, I was less informed?
Or what's changed for you?
Yeah.
You said it's like such a
so-
mind fuck.
Yeah.
So I don't think I don't know if I was less informed about anything back then. I knew my body pretty well. I know my body pretty well now. But I think that back then I was pretty convinced that I was, let's say, more interested in men and than women.
Yeah.
But definitely interested in both.
Yeah.
I had only had one female love
Yeah.
at that point, and now I've had 2.
Yep.
So yeah, I actually think that that's not true anymore.
Right. And because you mentioned sliding on the Kinsey scale last time, too.
Yeah, I slid.
Yeah.
Slid a little bit.
Yeah. Nice. But I was like, is it sliding, or is it just like you realized where your position was more? Because
No, I think
an
it
actual
ebbs and
slide.
flows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
no, I really do think it ebbs and flows. I mean, I still do. I will say I find myself attracted to more men than women, percentage-wise.
Yeah.
Like, I walk down the street, I'm like, ooh, damn, he's hot. And I don't really do that very much with women. It's very rare that I would do that for a woman.
Right.
Like, extremely rare. But my 2 relationships with the women that I've been with have been
stronger and better
2 of
than
the most
anything
incredible
else.
that I've ever had. And I think it has something to do with the intimacy that women can have with one another. And it's, it's the sex is hot, it's incredible, but it's also like the nurturing element of being with a woman that, frankly, I'm sure there are men out there that can be nurturing.
Mine is very nurturing.
I've never been with one. So, I'm typically attracted to very alpha males, alpha females, but alpha females are still women.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I think there's a lot of nurturing. I think that's what it was too, is like when we recorded back then, like I wasn't as like, yeah, go men, like, because I was thinking like, oh, men are actually like responsible for fucking
this is their
everything.
fault.
This is their fault. Yeah. And now like after having that episode we recently did with Dr. Ian Kerner, like so many of the things, like we were even talking about, you were like, any guy who likes women likes going down on women, or but I don't think that's true now.
But I do.
No, I know, but we've spoken like to.
I feel so strongly about it.
But what if, like, a lot of them are like afraid because of their skill, like, or some of them.
But they should love it once they can do it. That's what I'm saying. If there's an aversion to it.
Some aversion though, like I've met asexual people now. Like I feel like I've met so many different people, both of us through this podcast, that were like, whoa, I don't think that anymore. Like I don't.
Well, I always try to flip the script too. Like if a girl didn't like giving head for some reason, it wouldn't mean to me that she didn't like the guy,
right? Or that she didn't like guys in general. Yeah.
I mean, I think it depends on. I think it's sometimes. Dicks are massive and it's very difficult and it's daunting.
Yeah.
You don't have that issue with vagina. It doesn't really exist. There's no like clit that's too big and it makes you gag. Like it's not like it's not really a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like if somebody isn't, look, I've only had positive experiences, but I'm sure that there are situations where somebody is not, well groomed or sanitary,
groomed in the way that you want, or they smell differently than you're accustomed to.
Right. And so I haven't experienced that but I'm sure that could be an issue. But I think if in general guys say, "Oh, I don't go down on women," like that's problematic.
Yes,
100%. Yeah. But at the same time, if a girl was like, "I don't go down on guys," I think my mind goes to like, "Ooh, there must have been a trauma or something like that." Yeah.
There could be a trauma.
Yeah.
But again.
But I just don't want anybody to think like, if you don't like going down, like, how everyone's like anti-slut shaming or whatever. Like, I feel like this is a very like anti-prude shaming podcast. Like,
sure.
Go at your own pace.
Like, do whatever.
Always.
Like, somebody wrote in like, is it okay that I don't want to lose my virginity yet? Yeah, dude. Fucking just go at your own pace. It's okay if you don't want to masturbate. We're just telling you tools that you can do that have made us feel better. Yeah. But like, don't feel any pressure.
Yeah. I think where I come from when I say that is, I have some close girlfriends who, didn't even masturbate until their 20s.
Yeah.
Who don't really like when boyfriends go down on them or guys that they've been with go down on them because they're not comfortable with it.
Right. Yeah. Or they don't think they deserve it. I definitely didn't.
Meanwhile, like you and I both know where I stand on that.
Yes, I know.
But,
no, and where I stand now, I'm like, oh my God, yes, fucking do it.
By the way, you're welcome.
Thank you.
But I think that when I would hear them tell me, oh, he just doesn't like doing that. It's like,
that does bring up concerns to me.
But like,
if a guy didn't go down on me.
Yes.
You guys have been together for like a year and you suck his dick all the time. Like,
yes.
Get on board, buddy.
Yeah. And if it's like, hey, like I'm willing to teach you, like if you eliminate that, like, oh yeah, I don't think you're going to be good at it, I'm going to help you through this, and like, but then they're still like, no. Some guy did write in. He was like, sometimes there are smells that I don't like. What can I do about that? Like, I mean, you said you've never encountered a vagina that you didn't like yet.
So
But-
far.
Yeah, but like
Maybe shower sex.
shower sex. Yeah,
Post shower?
yeah,
Post shower.
that would be good.
Yeah, post shower is probably a good idea.
There definitely is something more though than just going down on someone. It's the idea behind it. It's the desire
wanting
to please
pleasure
someone.
them. Yeah,
Totally.
Caring
exactly.
about them. Like
I've said in a previous episode, I'm like, sometimes I don't want Ben to go down on me. I would just like him to like kiss my thighs while using like a suction thing on me, like the thing I gave you.
Oh, yeah.
what did you give her?
I gave her the girl's best friend from Sweet Vibrations.
Oh,
yes,
that's a good one.
That's a good one.
I only had like 20 minutes to play with it
Before your
before I came here.
oh really?
Yeah, this morning.
Oh my god! Oh,
I had
you,
food poisoning
oh
yesterday.
my god!
Oh no.
So sick.
She's like puking and masturbating.
She's like, I have to try it.
Right, like,
So tempting.
no, I fully appreciate it. I can't say that I've fully appreciated your gift yet.
Because you're sick.
I literally, like, I called in sick from work yesterday. I never do that.
Does the stock market crash if you don't go to work? Just to remind you guys, she's very high up in finance.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Nothing crashes. Nobody notices.
Okay, great.
But yeah, no. And then I woke up this morning. I was like, ooh, I actually kind of like to masturbate.
And you interested me because you didn't use the end, the suction
I didn't
end.
use the suction end. No, I didn't. I just used the vibration.
Isn't the suction thing the whole thing?
No, did you know that there's a vibrating handle?
What?
Yeah.
Wait, so I
Yeah.
guess I only really noticed the vibrating. You know, I didn't read the manual or anything. I kind of just like plugged in and I was like, oh, there's 2 buttons. I just like pressed
Let's
one
go.
and
Yeah.
just went with it.
And you were like, this looks like it does this. I'm going to put it here.
But like the shape of it actually was nice. It's kind of like rests over your clit.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's great. The whole shape of it is,
kinda nice.
yeah, you're crazy that you didn't know that the handle
Well,
vibrates.
I'm gonna try one.
Yeah.
very
So
soon.
it can go inside, stimulate your G spot, and then there's the other suction thing. Like that's just clitoral suction, and it's amazing. And like I was just saying, I love having Ben like use one of those on me and like kiss my thighs instead.
Yeah.
Like to be fair, oral is great for me, but I just like this machine. I like the machines. I think that they're
Yeah.
great,
And you are allowed to.
and you're allowed to.
You know what, Remy? It's wonderful what's happened to you in the last year.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of how far you've come.
Thank you.
Like best pun ever.
It's
Yeah.
actually a name of an episode
is.
last season, but yeah. But wait, if you guys want the girl's best friend, we should just mention that we have a 15% off discount this whole season.
So true.
So true. How come? And it's sweetvibes.toys.
Yeah, and you can actually
Don't go to
use-
sweetvibrations.com. That is not it. Go to sweetvibes.toys. Don't go to Amazon and be like, the code's not working here. It's not going to work on Amazon. It only works at sweetvibes.toys. But yeah, the girl's best friend is one of my faves. The suction and the other vibrating handle, amazing. The perfect match is amazing. That's the one that gave me my first internal orgasm. The pixie and the tulips, we still need to talk more about.
Tulips was great. It feels what you would like tulips a lot if you
Tulips.
like the vibrating part of
Yeah.
the girl's best friend. It's so soft. It's
I
like
can't wait for you to
silky
try the
smooth.
suction end though too.
They have great
Ooh,
stuff.
They have great stuff. And it's
Now
also
I want to
cheap.
leave this episode and go
I know,
try
that's
one.
the problem. This
Guys,
is
I was gonna go shopping, but maybe.
I'm going to go home.
I'm going to go home after this. Okay, wait, but I have
Yeah.
a question for you.
Sure.
So we were talking about like walking down the street, you see more percentage of dudes that you're like boing,
Yeah.
boing, boing.
I
For
said
sure.
this to you the other
know.
day, and you were like, I don't get that.
No, that's not what I was saying at all.
Okay.
I was saying that doesn't make you like either one thing or the other.
Because I've said now, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I'm like 10% gay. Like I've already performed as like a gay or like they have the Q in LGBTQ or whatever, but like I'm pretty sure like I've been attracted to girl, like I would
tell me.
with many people. Yeah. But I like listening to last, I'm like, I think, and now I'm like, no, I'm pretty fucking sure. What I was saying to Charlotte is that I'm so picky with guys in the 90% of guys that I like that the percentage of 10% of women, I must be so picky that I'm just not coming across those
Here's my
people.
question,
Yeah.
and this will
Sure.
touch on that, is did you have that same reaction to these girls that you've been with in like loving relationships when you first saw them? Or did it grow to become that way?
No, I like spotted them.
You knew, yeah.
And
And you knew.
We could joke that I like targeted both of them.
You're mine.
But I would say that they both targeted me as well. It was
Okay.
mutual.
That's usually good in a relationship.
But I definitely joke. No, it's actually really interesting, and what I've told a lot of my close friends recently is that I find, for me, this is the first time I've really casually dated women in my life. I dated men for so many years. I had so many boyfriends, and then it wasn't until a few years ago that I dated my first girlfriend. But in casually dating women, I find my standards are so high.
I was just going to say that.
Incredibly high.
That's what mine would be too.
Like
Same.
and I talked to my therapist.
I matched with Ruby Rose once on Raya, and I was like so down, and then she never responded
That's
to
the
me.
fucking dream.
I would love to have sex with you.
I know.
Oh my
like
god.
she is goals.
Yeah,
Sorry,
for sure.
continue.
And I typically like much more feminine women than her, but so I would make an exception for her. But I think that what was it? So the point is that I find that I'm kind of like a teenager in a way, because when I was in high school, I dated all this super good looking jocks, and I was so superficial in the guys that I dated. And then I kind of moved past that, and I could date a guy and be attracted to his intelligence and sense of humor, and I had to have some attraction there. But if the sex was great and the conversation was great and I enjoyed his company, he didn't have to look incredible.
Yeah.
I can't do that yet. With a woman.
Yeah.
I have just ridiculous.
They've got higher standards for us. Even we have higher standards for us.
It's so funny. It's
Crazy.
it's
Wow.
so bizarre. I was talking to my therapist about it. I was like, I feel like this is wrong.
Yeah.
I just, but I can't help it.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's actually pretty hard to find somebody like my first or second girlfriend. It's pretty hard to find somebody who's super beautiful, very feminine, really smart, strong. That's
checks all the boxes.
It's really hard to find that, I would say. So who knows, maybe I'll end up with a man, but I do think I might be better suited with a woman.
I do find that so interesting. That's the component that I wonder about is why am I so much more lenient with guys?
Why are we so much more? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, Crystal is ready for us to call her, and she's going to explain her clit story.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. Crystal Beth, she is a comedian, and she is on the line with us, and she's got no clit, you guys.
I have no clit. Very exciting thing.
Crystal and I, do you remember the first podcast I ever talked about not having orgasms on? We were on together, and I wasn't supposed to be on it, but I was sitting in
Nope.
Do you remember that, though?
Oh, yeah. We made the podcast way better.
Yeah. It doesn't exist anymore, that podcast.
No, it does not. It was Gandhi's show, right?
Yes, it was the Gandhi Show podcast. But you were interviewed and you guys were talking about the female orgasm, and I was sitting on the side and they were like, Remy, what's your opinion on this? And I was like, I've never done that.
I remember that. Oh, gosh. And then we got on the whole topic. We ended up derailing the podcast completely and just talking about female anatomy and orgasms and how to orgasm. And we got in the conversation about how I can come vaginally pretty easily, but orally is nearly impossible because I don't have a clit. I have the nerve endings.
Yes.
I have so anyone that's been listening to your show knows that clitoris looks kind of like a wishbone. So the nerves kind of circle around and sort of hug all the labia flaps.
Yeah.
And then there's a little button at the top of the wishbone, which is where the oral stimulation comes from. And I don't have that. My nerves don't connect.
But you have the
top.
rest of it.
Right, but I have the bottom of it.
Ah,
so you really got to focus to get in there. And then I have to focus, and I don't like to focus. Just stick it on in, and that's what I prefer. But it took me till I was 25 I think 24, 25, I finally went to the doctor and was like, and she was my midwife. She was the woman that birthed me through my mother's canal.
Yeah.
And she was like, I laid down and I was like, can you just like check? Because people keep talking about it and I don't have any clue what they're talking about. And it just feels like someone's like rubbing my arm, I guess. I'll like let people do it, but
yeah. Were you having internal orgasms though?
I actually, it took me quite a while. It took me a year of dating my first boyfriend to be able to figure out how to do it. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but everyone kept describing these super sharp, like mind altering orgasms where vaginal for me were this like deep earth rumbling type thing. So it's like a deeper, more like grounded feeling. And I was like, I don't think I'm getting these sharp ones that they're talking about. So I asked my doctor to take a little peek, and she was like, your lovers just probably don't know where to look for it. And I was like, all right, well then I don't either.
What? That's a bad doctor. I don't like your midwife.
No, she made me feel so awful and weird and like I didn't know my own body.
Yeah. Wait, so, okay, but your first orgasm was definitely with another person then, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because they had...
I never masturbated because
there was nothing to do.
There was nothing to do.
People would talk about how old were you?
Like, oh, so you just like massage your labia? I don't know.
Yeah. How old were you when the first orgasm happened?
Probably 17, 18.
Okay. Yeah.
Still young.
I
started having sex with my boyfriend when I was 16, 17, I think.
Okay. I had a question. Charlotte had a question about your mom.
I mean, you don't have to answer this if she's not comfortable, but do you know if your mom has a clit?
So the way I found out that my mom had a clit was when I left the doctor after I got my ultrasound to see if the nerves were connected in there, like whatever they use for the baby finding paddle thing. I don't know. I called my mom and I was like, I don't have a clitoris. And she was like, oh my God, you have no idea what you're missing.
Oh no. That's not a great response.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, cool. I didn't actually, thanks, Mom. I don't know what I'm missing.
Yeah.
I literally do not know what I'm missing.
Yeah.
Because, and like I cried a little when I found out, but then it lasted like 2 seconds because I was like, it's not like it fell off. I never had it.
Yeah, but you were still able to have internal ones, which is nice and makes you feel like, I guess, included in the world in some way and able to like relieve stress. But that must suck, like only being able to, or thinking you could only do it with like a penis.
Yes, because it's hard for me to do it myself because I can't but I think half of me getting there is the act of seeing an erection, which is one of my favorite things.
Don't we all love erections?
Yeah.
I love a good dick.
Yeah.
A good hard dick in pants too.
Oh, yeah.
The outline in the jeans.
Outline.
Yeah, or even a nice soft outline. I just like
You
to
have
see
soft dicks.
I just I like
know
hard
what-
ones too, but I love this. They're cute. You got shut up.
Oh, are you kidding me? My favorite thing ever is to, when a penis is flaccid, pull the balls up over it and make it look like a walnut. Oh my gosh, it's the best.
Have you ever pushed the penis inside of itself and then let it come out, filmed it in slow-mo, put it reverse? I have. So fun.
Oh my God, my poor husband.
No, it doesn't even hurt them. That's the thing. They're so malleable. They're so crazy. Dicks. It's crazy that you can break.
They can do so many things.
Yeah, like you can play with it like putty, but then you could also break it in half. Like, in what world?
I always think it's weird when they flex them and can like.
It's like
Crazy.
super cool.
Yeah,
It's
I
wild.
love it. Or like they flex
Do
it
you
inside
remember
of you.
the thing that you used to play with in like elementary school or middle school, where they would make this substance out of cornstarch and water that was liquid and solid
Yes.
at the same time?
Yes.
That's a penis. They were
That's a
training
penis.
us.
That's a penis.
That's a penis. Yeah. Oh, that shit was so great. So did you ever buy yourself like internal sex toys to like give yourself like the freedom to come alone?
Yes. So I figured out that if I wanted to be able to orgasm on my own, I had to get one of the internal external ones
Yeah.
that kind of imitated the feeling of the weight of someone on me, because I can only come vaginally in missionary. I can't come any other way.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah. I like being flipped around and stuff, but like when it comes to getting it done, I have to be on my back, and I have to like arch my pelvis forward and kind of suck in my stomach. And I just got back surgery, so I hadn't been able to orgasm in so long because I couldn't move my back. So, but I have to like work my ab muscles to be able to do it again. But I figured out that if I have something that imitates the pressure on my pelvis, as well as having something internal, then it can happen.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the mystery guest. Sorry. So, what about fingering? Because a lot of times you can push legs back in a certain way and be fingered in a way that kind
The come hither finger.
The come hither fingers.
The come hither, yes.
So that doesn't work for you?
It can. I can get the beginnings of a sensation, but I can't. And I know if my husband's listening, he's like, "Ha-ha, a challenge."
That's good. He should always be challenged.
He's the most giving of men. Literally, Crystal on that episode, she's like, "I'll lend you John." I'm like, "You don't need to lend me John, but that's so kind."
No one takes me up on it. It's so weird. I mean, he actually, the first time I ever came orally, because I have, which is insane. It was with John, and he figured out how to manipulate the nerve. And he's a computer guy, so like math and strategy like really gets going. So I think like he's figuring out like the code into my feminine wiles.
Yes. It's just a matter of combinatorics, Crystal.
Yeah. He figured it out, and I was like, what is happening?
What was the way to do it? What did he figure out?
It was a lot of... I feel like it must have been kind of boring for him, because it was mostly... He had to have a finger inside me, and he had to kind of like keep his whole mouth on it. And... so this is where I start getting picky. He has to... like hum, but he also can't hum loud enough for me to hear him because it distracts me, and I feel weird that he's humming at me. So he has to have like just enough vibration that when like, I can't feel it. I mean, I can feel it, but I can't hear it.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about some music?
Or some earplugs.
Oh my god!
I should just put noise canceling headphones on. Honestly, I never thought about that till right now.
Or like white
Blast
noise
some music or something. So he's not just like singing into your vagina.
That's amazing. Fun. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad we finally got you on this podcast.
Yeah, me too. Your podcast is great. I am honored to talk about my anatomy.
I love you. I miss you. I wish you lived here still.
I know. I'll see you when I come visit again soon, though.
Okay, great. You got anything to plug?
Yeah, I have a new podcast. It's about video games.
Sick.
Which really can just get my gears going most of the time. It's called Keep Calm and Game On, and it's on iTunes. And my social media is the Crystal Beth if you're interested. And if you're in Colorado, I need friends. I just moved here.
Amazing. Crystal, I have to ask this to all of our guests to be courteous. Did you finish?
Yes.
Amazing. I love you. Thank you for coming.
How could I not? Of course. I love you. I miss you. Thank you for making me come.
Miss you. Goodbye.
Bye. Miss you.
She's the best.
So great.
I know.
Love.
Okay, wait. One thing that was really funny that we mentioned the last time we recorded was I was sneaking Grace around the apartment. Yep. And I never really expanded on that, but I just wanted to tell you guys the story of Grace, and I'm going to make it a highlight because it was like a thing I was doing on my Instagram stories. Like
I remember.
it was like
day 2. No one's
sneaky Grace.
noticed.
Yeah. But
Day
yeah,
17.
Things are getting weird.
Here. Yeah. So when I first moved in with Nan, it wasn't the best because I had like a rug and like it was all my room was like still my grandfather's room, and like Grace's litter would get everywhere, and it was just a horror. And I would spend most of my time at Ben's just to get the fuck out of here. And then Nan was like, Grace is a problem. She can't live here anymore, because she kept claiming, oh, she's allergic. She can't live here anymore. And I was like, she's not really allergic. So I had to do a little experiment. And I brought Grace back. And every day I would ask, Nan, have you sneezed today? Are you okay? And she would say, no, I'm fine. And then, eventually the jig was up because one of my cousins went into my room and Grace bit him or something like that. But now Grace lives here.
I'm really glad that trick worked out and that she wasn't allergic, because once Remy was testing her to see if she really needed her oxygen. And she was like,
that.
My breathing's getting very heavy.
She was like, I can't breathe. And I was like, oh, nice, you noticed.
Yeah,
I turned the
plugged it back in.
It's good, Remy.
Yeah.
You know what? One thing I will say is, you definitely have a little lesbian in you because of your obsession with cats.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's the part of me that's not a lesbian.
Yeah, and I have sex dreams about Molly Rubin-Long using the perfect match on me.
Really?
Literally.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, well, she was our episode. She was one of the guests on episode 25, season 1.
I didn't know that was her last name.
Oh yeah.
What's her shtick?
She looks kind of like Zooey Deschanel. She's really cute. Very femme.
Blue eyes, dark black hair,
brown eyes, but
so
bangs. But bangs. No, very cute little pale skin, very baby doll looking bangs. Adorable.
So that's your type.
And my type I think is me if she brushed her teeth
like
more.
Allison Brie.
No, but she looks too different all the time.
Have you watched the
She
show Glow?
confuses me.
That's what he says to her. He goes, "You look different all the time. I don't know if you're hot or you're not."
Yeah.
Who is this?
Allison Brie, the actress. Every time she's in something, I'm like,
I don't think I know her.
I thought
I'll
that was
pull her up.
Yeah.
Have you seen Glow?
I have, but I don't know who you're talking about.
She's the main
Exactly,
one.
because she looks different every day.
Is she the one who plays the Russian?
She's the main girl.
The Russian? The one who plays, or the one who plays the American?
This is
The wrestling show, right? Yeah, her. Yeah, I don't know if she's attractive either.
right.
It's really
sometimes she is
confusing.
and sometimes she's not. I don't know. But I literally have had 2 sex dreams. Molly Rubin-Long, she already knows this, not blowing up her spot, but her using the perfect match from Sweet Vibrations. Go to sweetvibes.toys. But seriously, this is a real thing that happened. And so, I'm gay.
You're not gay, but it's okay.
That would be the most insane way to come out. So I'm gay, Ben.
Ben and I have already talked about it.
Is she your
That
hall
means
pass?
bi.
Yeah, but I think to be bi, you have to be gay and straight.
Well, that's exactly the whole point.
That's why bi exists.
Yeah, that's me.
But
Hi.
remember,
Nice to meet you.
no, but remember the guy that I hooked up with that was bi, and he said he needed to come out as gay first before he could be
Right.
bi.
Well, I will say that that's actually an interesting thing. We talked a little bit
Yeah,
on the last episode, and I actually think I've actually come to the point with my sexuality. I was a little insecure about it, and I'd make it so clear, I'm bisexual. Now, people mistake me as being gay. I don't care.
Yeah.
I like men. I don't care if you think I'm a lesbian.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I am, but I'm also straight.
But I'm also straight.
Yeah, yeah. I also told Ben, and he'd already heard it on one of the early podcasts that I was just like, oh yeah, I've always thought trans women were really hot. I've not hooked up with them, but I think that's hot.
Yeah.
I would love Ben, dress up as Frankenfurter, please.
I was just going to say Rocky Horror has
Always.
always been your thing.
I know.
Since we were kids.
I know.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not really a question, I guess. Something that was really interesting to me from the last time you guys recorded
Sure.
was talking about how men can be very intimidated by bi women.
Absolutely.
And-
that has not changed in the last year.
Why is that? Someone today asked me or said they thought I was, and you could hear the fear in his voice almost. And I was like, why is that so scary for them?
Because they live in a dick-centric world. They think it's all about the dick.
Do they think
Not
what,
Dr.
they're going to
Ian
be
Kerner.
obsolete?
Yeah, it's more it's kind of remember the comment that you made about how when you were thinking about going to a sex party, and Ben was like, don't you
Yeah,
guys
don't you want a guy there? Yeah.
And no,
Yeah.
no need. There
Right.
are other ways in which women can please each other, and frankly, there are ways that women can please each other that men can't. I mean, clit-to-clit sex is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
There's no male equivalent to that. You can put a strap-on and fuck somebody like you're a guy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. There's no substitute for the
Yeah.
alternative. So,
Is that tribbing?
I'm sorry?
Clit to clit?
Scissoring?
isn't there tribbing though too? Like on porn, I feel like.
I mean, I don't watch that much porn.
Okay.
Tribbing is a thing, though.
It is a thing. Are you gonna look it up, Charlotte?
Yeah. She's our research department.
But I think that men are intimidated by situations where they're not needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
Like rubbing them on each other.
That's the thing, though. If a woman is attracted to other guys, she also doesn't need you. You know, like I'm saying, like you specific to that guy.
Oh, totally.
You know,
ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. And I told you that because I had been dating a guy. For a while after my first girlfriend, and I liked him. But he was jealous, and like I'm a super flirtatious person with men and women.
Yeah.
And I think that was just difficult. But it's like, dude, if I'm going to cheat on you, it doesn't matter if it's going to be with a man or a woman. Like, I'm going to cheat on you. But I'm not going to cheat on. Like, that's not.
It's like there's so much more to cheating than my skin is touching someone else's skin. It's like I'm lying to you. I'm choosing somebody else over you. It doesn't matter what genitalia they have.
And by the way, like, just because, like, the whole, I think men are also intimidated because it's like, oh, like, you're hanging out with, like, this girlfriend of yours. Like, do you like them? Or are they a friend? Like, with a man, they have, like, it in their head, like, oh, guy friend, he wants to fuck her. His girlfriend, is there something going on there, or is there not? It's more uncertain, but I think it's a jealousy thing. I think it's I don't know. They're intimidated by it. I think at first they're attracted to it. So it's like, oh, she knows her sexuality, she knows her body. She's probably like she's probably a freak, whatever. And then once they really start to like you, it's like, oh, well, a lot of men are like, I don't want my wife to be like that. That's totally. Like if their men are like serious about being with somebody, a lot of them, if they're more traditional.
Do you think women feel the same about bi men?
About bi men, I don't know. I think that lesbians think that way about bisexual women. They think they're going to leave them for men.
Everyone's just scared they're going to get left.
Totally. I was going to say it really comes down to like, I think what it is if you're attracted to both, then there is statistically a higher number of people you could feasibly leave them for.
Yeah. Statistically, although I would argue that I'm attracted to such a finite group of people.
Yeah, totally.
In both.
Statistically insignificant.
Totally.
Less than 0.005.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, so this was a massive thing that we missed out on the first episode too. I never asked you your first time coming.
You didn't? Okay, so my first time ever masturbating or my first time...
Your first orgasm.
My first orgasm. So, like, I feel like those are different because I feel like when you're young, you, like, play with yourself and you get off and you don't have, like, a mind-blowing situation. But it's not even it's not even fully sexual necessarily. I think you're like, oh, that feels good.
Yeah.
Let me keep doing that. Yeah. And then when you get older, you identify it with another person and sex and you think about it that way. So I'll tell you my first real orgasm, I was just on the verge of 16.
Nice.
First, like, real orgasm. And it was a friend of mine in high school. We weren't even, like, fully dating. And we used to, like, leave school and, like, smoke pot, like, fuck around and then go back to school. And,
cool.
Sick.
So cool.
But like we just like usually like make out and he'd like finger me and whatever. And then one day, he went down on me and I was clearly not the first girl he had gone down.
Nice.
But whoever coached him well. And that was my first orgasm was from like him like playing with my nipples and
cool
and going down on me. And then we had sex, but I didn't get off from the sex. I got off from him going down on me.
Totally.
Because I have a very active clitoris. Probably why I like girl on girl sex so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you remember having ones as children too, or as a child?
So it's really funny. I didn't think about it. It's actually interesting that you would ask me this question today because a couple of nights ago, one of my friends and I were actually talking about masturbation. I don't really know why, but we're talking about, the first time that people have these experiences. And I forget, she had pulled up on her phone, first time I came masturbation type things. And people share stories, and some people like remember the first time being when they're like 5 or 6 years old.
Some of ours are babies.
Yeah, some are really young. And I can definitely remember times where like I like definitely did that, but I don't think I thought of it that way. It's kind of like rubbing against
fun?
this.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah. See, I feel like it's better to do it that, like, just think of it like, instead of like, this is sex.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, this is fun.
Well, it's also, we're also talking about how it's important if parents discover that their kids are masturbating, that they don't embarrass them.
Totally.
That they let them know, like, it's okay, just do it in private.
Totally.
It's totally normal.
Me and she wasn't my girlfriend, but we would have sleepover. You remember my friend Charlotte from Club Med?
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to grind, and like her mom would come into the room, and then we'd run to opposite sides of the bed because we're like, we're not doing anything. But we would do it all the time, but we would never orgasm. We just loved it.
Yeah.
Just take off our pants and.
I always wonder, like, it's just so interesting.
Maybe you really are repressed and you need to have sex with a woman, Remy.
I know this. No. This is something I've realized this year. Like, yeah.
You might want to try it. With Ben's consent.
That's the thing. So I had asked Ben a year ago when I was going to LA. I was like, would you mind if I hooked up with a girl? Because there was a girl she's my friend and she's my type, and I know she's into
Remy's
me.
like playing with her ponytail, like getting all like,
it's like nervous.
frazzled and like.
But I asked him, I was like, could I hook up with this girl while I'm in LA? And he was like, yeah, you could hook up with girls. And then when I got home, I was like, that would be weird, because that's just like asking if I could cheat in general, or like demoting women.
Yeah.
Like
why
it's demoting.
Is it okay to be with a girl and not a guy?
Yeah.
So I agree with you to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
If it was like a regular thing, but I think that as somebody who's exploring their sexuality, like I think it's important, and like you look. I mean, I'm speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Like, once I realized that I enjoyed a woman's touch, I was like, oh, I'm going to pursue this.
Yeah.
And I happened to have a boyfriend at the time. And,
totally
I just did it anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it.
Well, now that I'm actually cool and like successful with this podcast, maybe the lady club will let me in.
For sure.
Okay, yeah, cool.
For sure.
In the beginning, it was like, no, Remy.
You're like, I don't have a clit.
But you were just like, I've never orgasmed. I don't have
Yeah,
a clit.
no.
I don't have sex with women. I was like, I don't think the club's for you.
The club's not for you.
Go back to Club Med.
No, but also you had given me assignments that I never completed until I mean, I still haven't done them. But one of them was Kegel balls or whatever, which I don't think I necessarily need, but I do want to do an episode on Kegel balls.
They're fun.
And then another thing that you had given me as an assignment was under bed restraints, like cuffs and ankles and stuff. And I never did that. But I'm actually happy, because I feel like at the time it would have been like putting more of the pressure on Ben and like his skill or whatever. But like now, like I'm down. I think we should start doing assignments again, maybe. Not every episode, but when there are assignments. Yeah, like why not? There's so much growth to be, like, especially listening to that episode, and I'm like, wow, what I've done in a year, like what could I do next year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
It's exciting, Remy.
Thanks. I'll try them out.
They're good for teasing.
Yeah. Maybe not for next week, because that's going to like rush me, but like I'll do this stuff and I'll tell you guys all about everything.
Or like a sex swing is fun.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Nanny if I can put a sex swing in her apartment.
Right in the living room.
Like, Nanny, we need some renovations.
You could just do the over the door ones. Just make sure she's not home.
Yeah, I was like, nah. I'll have to book her a day of doctor's appointments. I'll be like, you're getting a full workup, Nan. And so will I.
Nice.
There was a bunch of responses. One of the women wrote in. She said, yes, thank you, bonus track. I'm literally only 15 minutes in, but so much of my life is in the first 15 minutes. I moved to Germany with my husband, fell in love unexpectedly with a woman, got divorced, not with the woman, and now just trying to figure shit out. I fucking love you.
Oh, love you too.
Yay.
Love that.
So much
So
fun.
great.
Yeah.
I'm glad you followed your heart, whoever you are.
Yes. And then we had somebody who did not like you.
Okay.
Which is okay,
It's
because
okay.
you're anonymous.
I don't really care.
Yeah. She said, I found it really jarring to listen to a guest like this. Confidence is one thing, but cockiness is another. Sex positivity isn't the same as what this guest necessarily brought to the table. I can't tell the difference between my clit and my hood. You should go to the doctor. What? Not helpful. That perpetuates a you're broken, go to the doctor sentiment. Gah. I love every other episode of this show, and I think it's amazing. This one just wasn't my jam, and I figured I'd inarticulately say so. Episode before this one was wonderful.
That's wonderful. I just think that some people like to find an issue in everything, and I think that in society today we have to be overly sensitive to things that, I think some people just need to understand everyone has different perspectives. They come at life in a different way, and if you're to account for every single person's potential feelings, you pretty much say nothing and you don't have any opinions.
That's so true. Yeah.
So.
No, I've upset a lot of people saying certain things on this podcast. Like one person wrote me and she said she never wanted to listen again because I said I can't date foreigners that don't get my references. But I can't date anyone who doesn't get my references. You could have grown up next to me.
That's what I'm saying. I think if you want to have a voice, you have a voice, and your voice is going to offend some people, and other people are going to like you for it. Yeah. And I think it's all about authenticity, and I don't think I offend anybody when I speak. Yeah. I think that, my perspective is my perspective.
I also think I instructed you to tell me to go to the doctor.
It's possible.
Yeah, I think so, because you did end up going to the gyno another, I think, a week later to check if all the parts were in place.
And I think I remember that I didn't want to do the restraints thing, so I was like, there should be an easier assignment for me.
Tell me to go to the doctor.
Tell me to go to the doctor. Yeah. Okay, also, last episode, I was wrong. I was like, hey, I'm not going to become a squirter the first time I orgasm. Dum, ba-da-dum.
She
was. Multi.
You know what it was? So many years of pent up cum.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously.
28 years of cum.
But I did it. But we've been talking about squirting this week a lot because a lot of people have been writing in being like, can you squirt without having an orgasm? And
sure can.
Sure can. I think the first one that I did was the first squirt I did when I had my first orgasm was not orgasmic. It was just a reactive that 28 years pent up or whatever. And then I was I still haven't had that, I feel good, and then I went into the bathroom and willed myself to finish the job.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely you've done it before, right?
Yeah. Separate events. Can coincide.
Yeah.
Depende.
We have an intern. She's done it.
Yep.
You ever done it?
Squirted?
Yeah.
Squirted without coming?
No.
Squirted in general?
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you.
Was it something, because you were it's something hard to achieve. Was it something that you were working on?
No. It's nothing I was conscious of because frankly, I've been having great orgasms for many years. It was not something I was oh, I feel like I'm missing out because I haven't squirted.
Yeah, I do think people need to drop that narrative of you have to squirt or should or even it's gross. Just let someone come the way they come.
Yeah.
Come as you are.
Come as you are.
Nirvana.
And achieve nirvana. So we were just talking about threesomes and how they can be really great if you do them properly.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've had a lot of great groups. You've had 3 orgies with the same group. Mm-hmm. What is the craziest threesome experience that you have ever had?
So I think it's hard to say craziest. I think the most unique threesome was with 2 men.
Mm-hmm. And that was your first and only 2 men?
First and only with 2 men, yes. They were 2 German men visiting during the U.S. Open time frame.
Okay.
Late
summer.
It was late summer.
An early September day.
But no, it was an interesting time for me because I had actually given myself a self-imposed celibacy for about 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
I was studying for the GMAT, and I just decided no men. This is pre-women.
I was going to say.
This is pre-women.
Yeah.
And so I went out to
no men, only women. That.
So I went out to dinner with a girlfriend who I hadn't seen in a while, and these 2 beautiful men sat down at the table next to us. We were at Pecora Bianca, if you want a visual. And
it was dark.
Flatiron?
In Flatiron, yeah.
Delicious.
And it was delicious.
They have good pasta.
And so I said to her, I said, it's too bad these two guys are gay. They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
She's like, they're not gay. They're European. I said, no, they seem pretty gay. She's like, no, they seem pretty European. So we end up striking up conversation with them, and one thing leads to another, and we end up grabbing drinks with them at the Edition Hotel afterwards. They order a bottle of champagne, and my friend says, I gotta go. I'm like, what do you mean you have to go? She's like, you should sleep with them. You really need it. Like, I'm gonna leave them both for you. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not sleeping with them together. Second of all, I'm not sleeping with either one of them tonight. But thanks for that.
Yeah.
So I finished the bottle of champagne with the two of them. She's gone. And they said to me, it was a Thursday night, and they said, do you want to join us at the U.S. Open on Saturday? And I said, that's very funny. It's the semifinals. Roger Federer's playing. Like,
that's insane.
That's kind of funny that you think you can get me a ticket to sit with you on Saturday. And they're like, well, if we can do it, will you come?
Yeah.
I said, sure. If you can get me a seat with the two of you Saturday semifinals, I'm in.
Yeah.
Here's my email address. Have a good night. I get an email the next day around 11:45 in the morning saying, I booked you a ticket through the service. Meet us at the Sofitel at 9:30 a.m. So, like, okay.
Nice.
Let my friend know, if anything happens to me, this is where I was last week. Show up at the Sofitel with an open mind. And one of the guys comes downstairs, and he's just so suave and debonair looking. I'm like, we're going to watch the U.S. Open, and he's in a sport coat and like a white linen shirt, like just very handsome. Yeah. He's like, would you like some breakfast? Sure. So I follow him, and we're walking over to the elevator that leads you to the rooms as opposed to the restaurant. I'm like, interesting. Go with it. So I get an elevator. We go upstairs. We're walking down the hallway. It felt like the longest walk down the hallway. Yeah. We get to the end of the hallway, and the door opens, and it's the other gentleman from the other night.
Oh, my God.
And he's like, I'm so glad you're able to join us. Won't you join us outside on the patio for some breakfast? Sure. Yeah. So I walk through this palatial suite and go out onto a balcony where there is champagne, orange juice, sparkling water, coffee, hot breakfast, cold breakfast. I mean, enough food for like 15 people, and there's 3 of us there. They open the bottle of champagne. We eat a little bit. I'm kind of just a little bit taken back by where I am.
Yeah, I'd be like, what's going on?
Oh yeah, we're talking. We're talking about what's to come. They had both never been to the U.S. Open before, so I'm like, okay, But when I go out on the balcony, I see where we are. I'm like, this is going to be a good day.
Yeah.
Anyway, we finish eating. We head over to Arthur Ashe. And we get there, and they're like, do you want to see some of the small matches before we head to our seats? I'm like, yeah, sounds great. Get some rosé, watching some of the side matches. It's pretty hot and sweaty. I'm like, let's maybe go into Arthur. Let's get some lunch and then go in before the Federer match starts. Yeah. We walk into Arthur Ashe. We have a great lunch at that sushi restaurant there. We drank another bottle of Whispering Angel. Yeah. Go out to the court, and we are 3rd row center court.
What the fuck?
I'm like,
who are these guys?
I'm like, who are these people? Like, seriously, who are these people? Like,
seriously,
I could see the beads of sweat on Roger Federer's face. Have an amazing day. Watch great tennis. They're like, would you like to come back to our suite for a drink and then join us for dinner? Like, I know where this is going at this point. They've both been flirting with me on and off all day. I kind of can't decide which one. I'm like, do I have to choose at this point?
Yeah.
So I go back.
I would be like, who am I falling in love with? Which one am I in love with right now?
I would be like, I'm so nervous. I'm leaving. Bye.
They're both so attractive for different reasons. One is like tall, dark, handsome. One is a little bit shorter, but like golden blonde hair and really bright, like green piercing eyes. Just like they're a perfect compliment.
Yeah.
So
something for everyone.
I really couldn't choose. and so I go back to their suite, and it's a perfect night. We're sitting outside drinking wine, and and one of them's like, "Oh, we're out. I'm gonna go grab some more wine at the store." So I'm left with the tall, dark, and handsome one.
Yeah.
And maybe like 2 minutes later, like he makes his move.
I was going to say, you probably have to start with one.
Yeah,
so I did.
Yeah, I'm learning and learning.
Yeah, so he makes his move, and we have sex outside on this patio area. It was actually quite awesome because you have like all the view of like all the buildings in the city.
Yeah,
so pretty.
Yeah, nice little breeze. so we have sex for all of New York to see.
So nice.
On the patio area. And then kind of I throw my dress on, but no, and put my underwear back on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of just laying on the couch with him, and we're like sharing a cigarette and drinking some wine.
This is like a novel. Oh my God, I'm having the best time.
I know, me too.
And then the other one comes back, and mind you, there are 2 very long outdoor couches and multiple chairs.
Mm-hmm.
He chooses to sit on the other end of the same couch.
Mm-hmm.
He picks my feet up and puts them on his lap, and he starts giving me a foot rub. I'm like, oh, it feels so good because we were on our feet and walking around all day.
Yeah.
And he's like giving me like the best foot rub I feel like I've ever had. I just had an orgasm.
Yeah.
my feet are being rubbed. And then he starts, moving up
the
my leg.
Nice.
Like very slowly. But I'm laying in guy one's arms.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so,
I can't.
And so I'm like, okay, this is gonna be great. I'm going with it. And so he kind of starts like massaging my legs. I mean, I'm getting super excited all over again.
Yeah.
And from there, it just kind of evolved into this like insane like group sex activity.
Yeah. So like we were talking before about how if a girl is having a threesome with 2 guys, sometimes people are like,
it's like getting gangbanged.
You're getting gangbanged. It's like,
no. I was not gangbanged. They were both pleasing me.
Yeah.
Right.
And this sounds
it's
sick.
like you get so much positive attention.
It was
amazing.
incredible. And I mean, yeah, like they kissed each other and they touched each other, but they didn't have sex.
Mm-hmm.
They were both more focused on me. I mean, I don't know what their psychological thing is. I mean, clearly they're attracted to each other in some kind of way, but don't act on it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know what the psychology is there. Frankly, I don't care because I'm the beneficiary of it.
Yeah.
And I happen to know that they've both been married to women in the past. So, and actually, I think one of them got married again since. But anyway, we had this like all night thing. At like 4:00 in the morning, I Ubered home.
That's so.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So sick.
Yeah, it started at 9:30 a.m., ended at 4 a.m., and
what a day.
it was quite the day.
What a day, what a town.
And the best part is the next time they both ended up in New York, do you want to know how I found out? They sent me an open table invitation for dinner for 3 at L'Artusi.
Oh my God.
And I happened to have a boyfriend at the time, and I declined.
Yeah.
But it was just really funny. I instead of just
An
declining
open
the
table.
calendar, it was so ballsy.
That's
I was
funny.
like, I called my friend and I just said, guess who's back in town?
So funny. Oh my
Yeah.
God. This was great.
This was great.
All right, mystery guest Catherine. This has been so wonderful to see you again.
Always good to see you, Remy. And Charlotte.
Yeah,
It
and
was
now
so nice
Charlotte.
meeting
You got
you.
to meet Charlotte.
Great to meet you.
I know I was working last year. I'm so happy I'm not.
Yeah. Now you're just working with me.
Yeah.
Working on the coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Catherine, did you finish? Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yes. Charlotte, did you finish?
Yes.
Amazing.
Did you?
I did. Thank you. You guys, thank you for coming. And we'll
Thanks for
see you
having
next time on How Come.
Bye.
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 It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help, 'cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
You guys, thanks for listening to this episode. Again, rate it and review it on iTunes if you could. It would mean so much. Some of your reviews, they're so fucking nice. I read them over and over again. And also, if you want to hear some extras, go to patreon.com/howcome. That is patreon.com/howcome. This episode has extras. We also have a new full episode coming up from my live event that I moderated at Brooklinen with one of the founders of Lola, the founder of the Become Project, Bethany Myers, the marketing director at Hims, Jared from Touchpoint. It's a great, Dr. Navia Mysore. It's a great panel, and you get it for $7 if you subscribe to the Patreon. You get that and every other episode that you might not be able to hear otherwise. All right. Goodbye.